Good evening, everyone. How is everybody? Happy Friday. And we'll get started here in about 8 more minutes. I just thought I'd go ahead and get logged on. And if you're watching right now, we can chit chat while I wind bobbins. I'm winding this on my bobbins. This is a Presentia 60 weight thread. It's a cotton thread. And I'll be doing some piecing. So I'm just going to, this would be a good time for me to wind some extra bobbins for me to piece with. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Hope everyone's, hi Terry, good evening. Welcome. Okay, let's see here. And there. And there. There we go. So you see, there's my thread right here. Woohoo. I'm just going to sit here and wind some bobbins, and we'll get started with our lesson tonight in about 7 more minutes. Hi, Benita. Hi, Beverly. Welcome. Oh, Benita from Kentucky. Woohoo. Beverly from Tennessee. My goodness. My family's from the Paducah area. Part of my family is. They're in Kentucky, and my gosh, I've been to Tennessee a bazillion times, everywhere from Nashville, Memphis to Knoxville and Gatlinburg. Hi, Val. Oh, Tampa, Florida. Yes, Val, I was born in Tampa, Florida, actually at Tampa General Hospital a few decades ago. Okay, I'm going to get my first bobbin wound so we can get going with this. There we go, and start. Okay. Hoo-hoo. So, I have some fun things tonight. Tonight is a continuation of what I call disappearing 4-patch variations. Tonight's a special one. It's a real fun one. I'm actually going to show you an easy way to piece half-square triangles. And then we're going to put 4 half-square triangle patches together and start cutting it. And we're going to make a star block out of our 4-patch, disappearing 4-patch series here. That's what I have in store for everyone tonight. Okay, so now I'm going to, there's one bobbin. Got a few more. I'm going to wind about 5 or 6 bobbins here in the next 5 minutes. And I'll have me plenty of bobbins wound to piece with. Okay. For those of you that don't know, I am a 4th generation quilt maker. Puppy, you okay? You okay, Bobo? Okay. Mr. Puffin decided to cough. It's been a cold day here in northern Illinois. Cold is really cold all day long, quite honestly. It's probably in the 20s right now as we speak. Hi, Karen. Good to see you. Welcome. You know it's cold when I have one of my little scrub hats on. Okay. It's either cold or I'm having a bad wish I had more hair day. And we got 4 more minutes before we get started, everybody. I'm sitting here winding bobbins. Wind it around there. There we go. I tell you what, let me back up my camera view a little bit. If you're here early watching, you can... Oh, well, I have to swatch to a different camera. Okay, let me go to a different scene here. And go to a different scene. There we go. And I'm going to back this out. You can see what I'm doing here in my bobbin area. Okay, so I just wound that. Push that forward. Press the start button. And it will wind my bobbin. You can see over here, this is what I'm teaching you how to make tonight, is this star block. This 4-patch triangle star block. Hi, Mindy. Hi, Donna. Wow, Mindy, was in Vegas one time, and it actually like tried to snow. That's just something you never think about in Vegas. You don't put the word snow and Vegas in the same sentence, or at least you don't think you would anyway. But it does happen. That's what I've been told. Hi, Sarah. Oh, a wet New Jersey. That's always fun. I know it's been some yucky weather here lately. Hi, Pat. Oh, well, how about that, Pat? I was born at Tampa General in I'll tell you my age, yeah, 1959. I was born at Tampa General. Excuse me. And we'll just wind another bobbin. I like having several up here for that way I don't have to take time off when I'm sewing to stop and wind bobbins. I'll get a few wound up. We're getting close to start time, about 2 more minutes. Got 2 more bobbins to wind and then we'll get started. Hi, Cynthia. Oh. You know, I look at getting older like this. I have earned every gray hair that I have. and we just get better with age, just like a fine wine. That's just how it is. Oh, oop, 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 oop. Got caught on my camera thing here. Oh, Sarah, I understand that. I'd much rather have wet rain than snow, but I'd much rather have snow than ice. So there you go. There's always some kind of a little trade-off right there. Move that over. Okay, there we go. Let's get that started again. There we go. Now that thread got caught on my little camera I have right there that you just can't see. And absolutely, Cynthia. And we'll get this one wound and we'll get started. Once this one is finished. Perfect. And we're just going to go ahead and get that other one out of the way. I'll have all my bobbins wound, and then I'll put my other thread in, my top thread for piecing. This thread I'm using right now, I just use it in my bobbin to piece with. It's a 60 weight Presentia Italian cotton thread. And it's good stuff. I buy it on a large cone. Hi, Mia. Hi, Stephanie. Happy Friday. I agree, Karen. I love batiks as well. Hi, Cindy. Oh, Cindy, that sounds like a fun trip. I bet it was beautiful, though. I bet it was beautiful up there. Hi, Sue. Absolutely, Cynthia. So there's what that cone of thread looks like, everybody. It's blue. Oops, there we go. Hold on. Yeah, that camera right up there. Let me change this camera view here. Oops, wrong one. There we go. So this is what I use for bobbin thread. Okay. If I'm winding my own bobbins, it's blue, it's Presentia. It's just an off-white 60 weight thread. Perfect for piecing bobbins. And what I'm actually using for my top thread tonight is a 50 weight Mettler silk finish, a variegated silk finish, and it's got the purple cap to it. This is what I'm using tonight. Cynthia, yes, I have taught when I was with AccuQuilt. I left AccuQuilt in 2019. I traveled all over the US and Canada and did AccuQuilt classes at shops. Saw many shops there in North Carolina. I mean, I've been in every state of the union when I was with AccuQuilt. Absolutely. And so, everybody, welcome to Feature Friday. We are going to get started. I'm going to go back to my multi-camera views so everyone can see everything. Hi, Christina. Hi, Vanessa. So there we go. Okay. So this is the block I'm going to teach tonight. Let me move my camera over different camera view here for just a sec. And this one, this big one here, it almost measures, it's about 14 by 14 inches. This was pieced with an 8-inch cut squares, 8.5-inch square, 8-inch squares of fabric. Okay. I have another one. This one was pieced, and it's really big. It's almost 18 inches square. This was pieced using layer cakes, 10-inch squares of fabric. Okay. So that was this one was from a layer cake 10-inch square of fabric, 4 squares, just like we did last week. Then this one is 14 inches, and it was made using 8-inch squares of fabric. Okay. What I'm going to do on camera, I'm going to use my 5-inch squares of fabric to make this block. It'll make a small block. But we start with 4 squares of fabric, whatever size you want. Personally, I am going to make one in the, this is what I call the layer cake. This big one was made from 10-inch squares of fabric. And let's just have a look here. This is an 18-inch wide ruler, and it measures, let's see here, 17.5 inches square. So this block right here on camera was done from 4 10-inch squares of fabric, which is what you can buy layer cakes as. Okay, pre-cut. This other block, I just want to make this crystal clear. This was cut using 8-inch squares of fabric, 4 of them, and it measures 13.5 inches square. Okay. Now, as you saw last week, we did some really simple square cuts to get our blocks in a 4-patch. And a 4-patch, just so a little refresher here, that is a 4-patch, 4 squares. Okay? But last week we made our cuts this way and this way. This week we're going to make diagonal cuts to achieve that star block. So first things first, we have to make a 4-patch right here. And that's what we're going to do next. Hi, Kathy. Oh, wonderful, Cynthia. Yes, Cynthia, I was in Apple Valley, Minnesota, absolutely. I've also been to Albert Lea as well. Okay, so we're going to sew these together and make us a 4-patch first. That's what we're going to get started with. And here we go. Just a regular 1/4-inch seam. I do have the foot I'm using tonight, everybody, is, let's see, this camera here. This is the 1/4-inch piecing foot that came with my machine. It does have the metal edge guide on it, and you need that for this technique I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you an easy way to piece and cut half square triangles, because what we're not going to sew these together yet, because what I have to do first, I'm going to make these. Let me go back to the other camera. Hold on. right here. There we go. What I'm going to do, I'm going to stack these together, right sides together. Okay. And we're going to layer them exactly on top of each other. Okay. Now I'm going to take my ruler, and you can use a friction pen. This is just a mechanical pencil, a regular pencil like you use in school. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to draw a line from corner to corner. You could use chalk, you could use a friction pen. If it's really light fabric, I will use a pencil. Oops. Put a little more pressure on it. I got to see the line. But exactly corner to corner. Well, I can't see that, so you know what? I am going to use a different marking instrument. Let's see here. Let's try this black friction pen. I want to be able to see it, dadgummit. A disappearing, a water-soluble or an air disappearing marker, fabric marker would also work. This is a black friction pen. Just got to be able to see that line well enough to run the edge guide. There we go. I can see that one well enough. Let's do this one too. We're going to draw one line corner to corner. That friction pin's done, so I guess I'm not going to use that. I'm just going to put some more pressure on my mechanical pencil here. Sometimes a batik, it's kind of rough, and maybe I need some more lead out. But that's what it is. It's exactly what it is. There we go. There we go. That's why it wasn't marking, didn't have enough lead out. Now that should mark. Boy howdy, and I broke it. Here we go. There we go. I can definitely see that one. I remember years ago, my Meemaw, my aunts would mark out their fabric before they cut it using pencils. Okay, so there's my two lines. Now I am not going to sew on those lines, everybody. What I'm going to do, the metal flange on this foot, I'm going to run it right on top of my pencil lines, and that way I will piece a 1/4 inch away on each side of my pencil line, my marked line. You know, if you're using chalk or a friction pen that works. But all I'm going to do, I'm going to line up that pencil line right on top of the metal edge of that foot. And that way, I will actually be piecing a 1/4 inch away from my pencil line. There we go. Turn my iron on so it can start heating up. And we're off. Then all I'm going to do, I'm going to do it the same thing on the other side of my pencil line. Just rotate it around. And now I have just pieced 2 half square triangles. When I take this back to the cutting board, I'll just cut it right on top of my pencil line, and it will separate them. Let's do the other one. This is a fun way to do half square triangles, everybody. You don't have to cut the triangles out. And that way. Oops, wrong way. Other side of the line. Come on, you. There we go. There we go. Okay. Now we'll go back over to our cutting mat. We're going to cut these apart. Cut right on top of our marked lines from corner to corner. Now, as you can see, I have 4-pieced half square triangles. Check it out. Well, that did actually, look at that, I did not sew a stitch. That one didn't sew for some reason. Did I break the thread? That one did though. Here we go, check it out. There we go, there's 1, 2, that one did, 3. Let me sew this one more time, then we'll have our 4 half square triangle blocks. Okay. It's always fun when fun stuff like this happens on camera, everybody. I know you're all laughing out there. I can hear you. It's okay, I'm laughing inside too. It's too funny. Here we go. Okay. Now then, I am using a 1/4-inch piecing foot Betty with the edge guide. So there's my, have 4 of these. Now I'm going to press them. I'm going to press them so that the seam goes to the dark side. Excuse me. Let's go right over here. Just have 4 of these to press. As you can see, it seams coming over here to the dark on the back. And really, I should press these open since this is going to be a star. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to give these a quick set, and then I'm going to press my seams open because it's going to form like a pinwheel. No, this one will not form a pinwheel. It will be the other way. I'll show you. Hold on. But I'm still going to press these open. Because whenever you do half square triangles, you're going to have a lot of bulk eventually, and it will just lay flatter with these half square triangle seams if you press the seams open. Here's 1. 2. 2 more. So everybody, next Friday night I will be in Phoenix, Arizona. And there will be no feature Friday next Friday night. I will try to get on at some point that night. But remember, here in Central Illinois, we are 6 o'clock out there would be 8 o'clock here. So, yeah, there will not be a feature Friday next Friday night. Just wanted you to know that. I will do something when I get back. We'll have another session, but it may not be on a Friday night. The next 3 weeks, I'm going to be traveling, so it'll be Friday nights will be real sketchy. This is the only way I know how to put it. So here we go. Here's how we're going to lay them out next. Okay, we're going to do like this. We're not going to make a pinwheel. What we're going to do is do this. See that? So by making it like this, this is how we're going to piece it together. This is the next step right here. We're going to piece it together right there like that. Pretty cool. But next Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, I will be in Phoenix at the Rusty Barn Quilt Show at the Baby Lock booth. It will actually be for 35th Ave Sewing in Phoenix is who I'm going out there for. So make sure I sew these together right. Hold on. I don't want to rip out stitches. And there we go. That's my seam line right there. And look how when you press these seams open, everybody, check this out. The seams are pressed open. It makes it easy to line that up because you have those little twin dog ears on each piece to line up with. See that? Right there like that. Okay. Yes, Cynthia, kind of an hourglass on point. But it's not going to be sewn on the point. We're going to sew these together, then we're going to cut them apart again. Okay. Here we go. 1/4 inch seam. And right here. There. The magic happens after we cut them apart. Okay. And then, yes, I'm going to press the seams open again. Because as you can see, right there in that corner, there's getting a lot of bulk. Let's go over here and press. Just set this to the side for a second. Set the stitches. Okay. Do that to both of them. Okay. Now I'm going to press them both open. Pressing the seams open, everybody. You saw how I laid my iron down there on this wool mat. As long as you don't leave it on there for more than 15 seconds or 20 seconds, it's not going to damage it. If you've never pressed on a wool mat before, oh, I highly recommend them, everyone. You can even they even make them to cover your entire ironing board. Haven't went there yet. They're a little pricey, but that's probably something I'll do in the future. It really does make a difference in your pressing. Okay. Get that pressed open. There we go. I'm just going to... Now, notice I'm not pushing down. So, Terry, my iron is a Panasonic 360 cordless. It also has steam. I don't have the steam turned on for this. This bias steam and bias pieces of triangles do not play well together, so I really don't recommend that. Now then, check it out. There's our two halves, and they're going to go back together like this, right here. And we're just going to make the thing back to line up. We make sure that this center seam here is lined up. Excuse me. Let's come back over here now. Just going to take my time and get everything nice and lined up. Okay, here we go. And as usual, I have my stitch length at 1.8 millimeters. That lined up. Now we get this one going down here. Cut. Then we're going to press that seam open. See, all this time you all thought I never press seams. It really depends on what I'm making as to whether I'm going to press. If it's anything other than a square shape, I will press it almost every time, these triangles especially. Triangles and diamonds. It's a good time to press. Okay. Come on, here we go. Just take your time. Run that iron right down that seam line. We're trying to press open. Ouch, right there we go. Okay. So that's set on there for a minute. And now I have my block pressed. Now the fun part, we're going to cut it apart. So, just for refresher, this will end up looking like that. Okay? So, I'm going to use one, just like before, with the blocks we did on this before. I'm going to use 1.5 inch. I'm going to use a 1.5 inch measurement to cut my lines, and I'll show you what I mean by that. So on cutting mats, you have 1 inch grids. These are actually 1/2 inch grids, so it makes this a little bit easier if you have a grid mat similar to this. So what I'm going to do, remember last week I used the center seam lines to make my cuts off of. Well, I'm not going to be doing that tonight. I'm still going to make 4 cuts, but what I'm going to do, I want to line up this corner, right along the edge marking on my mat here. So I'm going to use these mats, and I'm going to cut 1.5 inches away from each corner on a diagonal. Let me change this camera angle. There we go. You just bring this up some. Okay. I'm going to cut, we're going to use the 4 corners as a starting point, and we're going to cut 1.5 inches away from each corner to corner. And what I mean by that, right there's 1.5 inches. And what I can do to make it even easier, yes, I'm going to mark it. Where's my pencil? So on this one, 1.5 inches, it's right there. Just a little pencil mark, that'll be covered up in the seam. And 1.5 inches from this corner down, right here. Okay, and then from this corner over this way, and this corner over this way, So see what I did there? I marked, put a little mark from this corner right here, 1.5 inch, 1.5 corner, 1.5 inch, 1.5. I have to do the same thing on these opposite two corners as well. Let's see if this pencil will actually show on this. I have to get something else. Nope, that's not going to work. I'm going to get my chalk pencil. A Choco liner. And where is my Choco liner? Or just a piece of chocolate could work also. Maybe this will work. This was a hot pink friction. You know what? I'll just be really careful and do it. But you get the idea. All four corners, our measurement is 1.5 inches if we're using a 5-inch charm square away. Okay, so for these two mark, there's 1.5 inches from that corner, 1.5 inches from this corner down. We're going to cut it right there like that. Okay. Okay. Now, same way, right over here, 1.5 inches from the corners. Do it that way. Okay. Bring it up. And then we're going to do it this way as well. Move these down just a hair. So 1.5 inches to 1.5 inches. Be right there to right there. And then on the opposite side the same way. 1.5 inches, 1.5 inches. 3. There. There. Okay. Now the fun part. Are we ready? We're going to separate these out so we can see our pieces. Okay, so first thing we're going to move, this will stay in the center, but it will go like this, okay? There's our center. Nope, that is not our center. I did something wrong, everybody. Did I do that other oddball block that I did? Hold on. Hold on. No. Did I do that? No. I miscut something here because something's just not quite right. So that's not going to look like that. We'll have to do another one. Okay, so let me think here. What did I not do right? Let me think here. Hold on. Let me stick these back in here. There is something I did not have lined up correctly. Hold on. Let's see here. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Okay. So we're just going to come up with a completely different block than what I had planned on. And we'll just work these out and make them fit into a different block. So the joy of doing live videos are moments like this, everybody. Oy. Okay. Wait a minute here. That work. We're going to do this. This. See if this makes anything. I think here. It's not going to work. Well, let me just put this aside and we're going to do it, take another stab at it. I had something off here, and let me think for just a second. Right. Okay. But we're going to make something out of this one anyway. So let me get this figured out here. Okay. Do a little improv piecing. Wow, Tracy. 9 inches. I know where Parker's at. I worked in Parker. Wow, that's a big snow. So this is going to make a very oddball block, everyone. Check this out. And then we're going to sew this together, and then we're going to square it up, and this will be a leftover piece right here. So that can go into something else in the future. So I'm going to sew these together. And let's see how would be the best way to do this without having a Y seam. No, we're going to do this. We're going to do this. To be perfectly honest, I've only made the star block twice, but I made those, I don't know, about a month or so ago, right before Christmas. And boy, howdy, it just escaped me. I just drew a big blank on how I did that. Let me sit here and think about it while I'm sewing this improv block together. That's what we're going to call it. When you make a boo-boo, it's called an improv block. There we go. Dun, dun, dun. See what this looks like. There we go. Here's a little, just turned that little funky thing into a pinwheel. Okay. Thank you, Vanessa. They really show up, they really contrast well on camera. It was just really the true reason I picked these two particular colors. Because of the high contrast with each other, they film well. Excuse me. Okay. Right there. Okay, let's rethread our upper thread. Yes, they are beautiful. Oh no, Betty, it is super easy. It's just me. I had a moment. It's not that difficult to do. It truly isn't. I made a cut. I didn't cut it in the right place. That's all. Okay, there's that. We'll use these for something else. Okay, so let's get us some more 5-inch squares of fabric. Two. And yeah, everyone, I have a lot of charm squares. Okay. They're great to do demos with. And I just like I like sewing with charm squares of fabric, whether they're 5-inch or 2-inch. Okay, so once again, let me just think here for just a second. Actually, before I do this, I'm going to take one of these. You'll see me figure this out on camera now. So if I did it that way, I'm looking at a block to try to figure it out. So I think there's one. Look at the back of it. Okay. Okay, so here we go. We're going to do it this way. We're going to do this. First, going to do our all 1.5-inch cuts. Let's see what this does. Just like we did before. Just like we did before. I still don't think this is right, but we're just going to see what happens. This is right. Oh, yeah. This is it. I say that now, but I'm feeling confident, everyone. Okay. Just got to make sure they all stay in place. It's our 4 1.5-inch cuts. Okay. Let me think here. Do. Then if I go like this. I'm not going to cut it yet because I'm going to think about it for a second here. Nope, that'll do what we did. Those cuts there will do this. That's what that'll make. Okay. The block that we did last week. That's what those cuts will make. Could have swore I cut that block the proper way on our first go round. Maybe that I didn't have it pieced correctly. Because for it to end up like that, you look at the back of it here. That's the trick right there, is that one. Right? Right. Okay. You lay this out. I'm going to deconstruct the cuts. So that's all sewn together. Right? Right. have to have that. Where do you? Do. Okay. Oops, let's try another one I've already got pieced. Okay, so 1.5 inches. 1.5 inches, 1.5 inches. Right there. Nope, they do have to be pieced as triangles. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do piece 4 more triangles. Yes, cut on the bias the first time. So I'm going to make, because I know it starts out as half square triangles. Okay, so we're going to do this again. Okay. We're going to do our 4 half square triangles. I don't think I sewed them together in the proper order is what happened on that first one. That's what I'm thinking. So we're going to give it another go. There we go. Now we're going to sew these as before. We're going to sew 1/4 inch away from that pencil line I just made on each side of the pencil line on both pieces. This time I'm just not going to snip it. I'm going to just pull it out, give it some slack, and flip it around to sew the other side. And we'll do another one. Then we'll do another one. Oh, I know I'll get it too, Donna. Just having a moment. Let's cut them apart. Okay. There we go. Quick press. This time I'm just going to press them to the side. I'm just going to do that so that it'll go a little quicker. And another one. And another one. There we go. One more. Okay. All right. Now then. Let me just see one thing here. 99.9% certain we do this. Right? Right. Right there like that. And then you get one of these blocks out. Okay. Just checking something out here because to get end up with 9 pieces, so there's one cut on each side of the block. Oh, hold on. Hold on. Yeah, this one is not done on angles, everybody. Yeah, I got it. It's the pinwheel block that I'll do on my next episode that gets cut on the diagonal, not this one. This is all cut on the straight seams like it was last week. The only thing we did different on this, now I got it. The only thing we did different was this one is set together with half square triangle blocks, where last week it was just set together with squares of fabric. That's the difference. That is the difference. Woo-wee. Okay, make sure I'm doing this right. That's correct. That'll go there. That'll go there, like that. Right here. Okay, this is the way to do it. I've got it. I got my cuts down, I think. We'll see here in a minute. I'm pretty sure, yes. That would make sense. Sometimes when you're piecing a lot of different blocks and experimenting, yeah, it doesn't always stick in your head as much as you might like it to. So this one I will press open. Because it has a big chunk of seams on one side of it. There we go. Let me let that press. Give me a sip of my coffee. Okay. Come on, you. There we go. Okay, press that center seam. I will press this one and the next one open. Okay. Then we're going to sew this together like so, just like before. That is correct. This part was all correct. Where I had messed up, I shouldn't have cut the others on the diagonal. That's for a different block. That's all. And then we'll press that one over. Oh, thank you, Christina. No. Hey, I'm just like all of y'all. I like to experiment, and sometimes I don't remember stuff the way I should. It happens to us all. So there we go. There's that. Then we're going to make our cuts. Just experiment here as I'm going to pretend I'm cutting here for a minute. There. And there. Hold on. There. 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 Do. Okay. Yes. So, just like before, the difference, here's the difference, everybody. I'll show you the difference when I make sure I'm right. I'm 99.9% sure. Just like last week, I'm going to use the center seam line and cut 1.5 inches out all the way around. Okay? Here we go. 1.5 inches out from the center. Get in closer on the cutting pad here. There we go. That was 1.5 inches cut. Do that the same way around all the way around. From the center seams of the blocks is where we're making our cuts from. 1.5 inches. If you're using a 10-inch square of fabric, you probably do a 2 or 3 inch cut. I think a 3-inch cut on the 10-inch square is what I did. Let's see here. Oops. And we'll do a 10-inch square when I finish this one, just so you can see the difference. There we go. 1.5 away from the center. Okay. 1.5 away from the center. I should have done a bigger cut. I can see that already. Should have done 2, but you'll get the gist that this is the proper way. Is that all of them? One more. Okay, now when we separate them, check it out. This is it, everybody. I can see it going to happen here. Are you ready? Now these get rotated like so. So little triangles go out to the 4 corners. I never made one this small before, although others were larger. That stays where it's at, but we're going to flip them as we work our way around the board. Okay? Right there like so. Then we're going to actually flip them again like this. And this will create, I've always heard it called an Ohio star. It's just a 8-pointed star. And then we're going to sew them together. And we're going to flip these over here like so. Okay? That way this color or this color are opposite colors. It'll make the points of the star stand out. Oh, so much better. Hold on. Right? Right. Blue goes there. Yellow goes there. There we go. Now you can see that 8-pointed star. No, Donna, the pinwheel is next week. There is a different one just so you can see the difference of what I'm talking about. Hold on. By making the diagonal cuts, you would end up with this. By making the square cuts, you end up with that. That's the two differences right there. On a larger square of fabric, this would probably have looked better with a 2-inch cut. Maybe. Because see, this is kind of small right here. Should have been out a little bit further. So another way, you could have went in from the outside edge to the inside edge. But there's what you get with those cuts. Using that center line, this was 1.5 inches out from the center. I would probably have done this a little bit larger, but it'll still look totally cool. Let's sew it together and see what it looks like. Make sure our little triangles are all out to the outside edge here. Okay, now we're going to sew that together. The cool thing is, where the diagonal cuts are, there's no seams to have to line up. There's that. I can see I already messed that up. Look at that. That should be up here in this corner. So I have to rip that out. But you get the idea of what I'm doing here. Those are the cuts. This last time I cut, that is how you make the cuts to turn a half square triangle 4-patch into an 8-pointed star, using only two different fabrics. Get that cut apart. Those of you that know me know how much I love ripping out stitches. Yes, I just love ripping out stitches. Not. There we go. Not bad. Now then, that has to go up there like this. Little triangles to the 4 corners, the outside corners. There we go. I unthreaded my needle again. Okay. And the reason is I didn't start sewing with fabric under the needle. That's what causes that to do that, everybody. If you've ever wondered and didn't know, that's what will cause your needle to come unthreaded. Is not starting out your first stitch with fabric underneath the needle. Oh yes, Betty. So there's that one. These 2 here to go. 2 more rows. See there? Okay. But as you can see, by starting out with 4 little half square blocks, you actually get some really tiny triangle piecing without having to cut teeny tiny triangles. It's so cool. And when you cut it in the proper direction and order, it even makes it cooler. Let's see here. Underneath that foot, there we go. There we go. I'd much rather, though, in all honesty, I'd much rather rip out stitches from a sewing machine as opposed to something like a serger. Sewing machine stitches are so much easier to rip out. The worst to have to rip out are long arm stitches. That's the hardest. And like everybody else who does that, yes, I have had to rip out stitches from a long arm. Not fun. Not fun. Because it's not like you can take it out of a long arm to rip it. You have to do it while you're at the long arm to rip out stitches. Okay, let's sew these 3 rows together now. I'm lining up the seams as I come to them. Okay. There's that. When you see it happening, look at this. Isn't that cool? And then we'll measure. Now we'll know what size blocks these different size squares will make. By doing this, it's one of the reasons I wanted to use the 5-inch squares tonight, because I hadn't made one with that, and I was wondering, I figured it'd make around an 8-inch finished block, I think, is what it'll be. Totally makes it easier to do if all the seams are pressed open. Because one step on this block here, I did not press the seams open. And there you go. There's your 8-pointed star out of a 4-patch. Pretty cool, right? Love it. How big is it? So let's have a look here and see. Okay. This started out as 5-inch squares of fabric, and it measures 7.5 inches square right here. So this would be a 7-inch finished block. Okay. The next one, go one size up, which is this one. Same technique, just different size starting squares. That one started out as an 8-inch square of fabric. The cuts on this one were 2¼ inch cuts out from the center line. Is that right? 2.5 inch cuts out from the center line. So the 5-inch square was 1.5 inch cuts. This one was 2.5 inch cuts. It measures 13.5 inches, so it would finish at a 13-inch square. And then this one, okay, this big one here, Let me back out my camera because you can't even see the whole block. It's so big. Oop, wrong way. Come here, you. Wrong way. There we go. This camcorder has zoom on it. There we go. Oops. I'm gonna lay this down here. As far out as it'll go. Yeah, just a minute. There you go. But it measures 17 and a half. This one started out as 10-inch squares of fabric, and it'll be a 17-inch finished block. You could make them larger or even smaller than this one down here if you wanted to, depending what you wanted to do. And all you start off with is squares of fabric to get to this. Pretty cool, right? So this one here, this one was this was 2.5-inch cuts as well. This one and this one were 2.5-inch cuts. Make sure I'm telling you right here. Yep, 2.5. See here, 2.5. Yes, those were 2.5-inch cuts. These were 2.5-inch cut from the center lines, 2.5-inch cut from the center lines, 1.5-inch cut from the center line. And there you go. That is your modified 4-patch half square triangle variation for tonight. Okay. Ooh-wee. Let me see if there's any questions out there. And let's see, where do we want to go? We want to go right here. There we go. Okay. I had to make sure I hit the right button for the right camera. Okay, everybody. It is really easy. If I hadn't been confused in the beginning, for some reason I was thinking about the pinwheel block. Okay? And I got the cutting directions confused between the pinwheel and the star block. So the star block, you actually make the cuts measuring out from the center seam lines of the 4-patch. The 4-patch that is made from 2 half square triangles. Okay. Well, I can tell you those points, they're not all perfect. They're close, and they don't have to be perfect every time. Unless you're entering it into a quilt show. That's the only time you're going to get judged on something like that. Excuse me. But I can tell you, this one's awful. This one I did on camera, it looks good from a distance, but if you get really close, there's a few little wiggles and wobbles here and there. Oh, let's see, last spring on my way to Naples, Florida, I picked up 2 of these at a Love's Travel Center. And I tell you, I'm going to have to reverse engineer them so I can make some. Thank you, Jacqueline. But yes, that was a lot of fun, wasn't it? And I love how this looks. The size of I like small pieces. However, in reality, the one I'm going to make for the bed upstairs, I'm going to use the 10-inch squares because it'll go so much quicker. I mean, literally, you would only have to make about 18, 5, I don't know, for a king size bed, 25 or 30 blocks would make one, I think, without getting out a calculator. Lots of fun. And while I'm gone next week, Mike is going to be running networking cable in my long arm room. So hopefully I will be able to start doing some long arming videos as well. That's what he's going to be working on while I'm gone to Phoenix. So my travel schedule so far for this year, for this spring. Next week, Phoenix, and then the 2 weeks after that, the following 2 weeks, the first 2 weekends in February, I will be at Jackman's Fabric in St. Louis and in Fairview Heights, Illinois, right at their store across the river. Then in the first part of March, I'll be going to Decorative Stitches in Shelby Township, Michigan, and then down to Naples, Florida. And then in, April, I will be at Seems So Easy in Fairfield, Ohio. March, I will be at Barnes Sewing Center in Cuyahoga Falls. I think I've got another one in there, but those are the ones that stick out in my head so far for this year for travel. Lots of fun. The Seems So Easy, Naples, Florida, and Cuyahoga Falls, those are all serger camps, just so you know. Shelby Township Decorative Stitches in Michigan, that is a Sashiko workshop. Betty, I will be in Naples, Florida for St. Patty's Day weekend. That's when my class workshop is down there. Which is actually, the shop is located on the northern edge of Naples. It's in Bonita Springs. It's basically the weekend of March the 17th. I just finished a quilt on my long arm. Well, I got the quilting done on it, where I did couching as I was quilting with chenille on top of a little jelly roll quilt. Really turned out cute. Once I get the binding on it, I don't even have the edges trimmed, have it squared up yet, but I'll give everybody can see that one. It really turned out nice. The chenille is lavender and the background fabric is off-white. That's right, Cynthia. Now, it's been a while. I used to ride horses, but that was quite a long time ago. But if you can see it from a galloping horse, you should take it to a burn pile and burn it, because it'd be pretty bad, because when you're galloping on the back of a horse, yeah, your vision's doing this too. That would be awesome, Betty. Yeah, it's really fun to do. I like to free motion quilt in my long arm with chenille yarn. It really has a really cool vintage look to it. And that's something I am planning on doing once the cameras are turned on in that room. I'll be doing a lot of long arm videos. I did a count a couple days ago. I have, of my own quilt tops, I have like 17 quilts to quilt of my own. Because I've been busy quilting, doing customer quilts and everything. Jacqueline, the name of that iron, it is a Panasonic 360. Hold on. You can see the number and the name of it right there. Sure my thread doesn't get burnt. But it's called Panasonic 360 cordless. Awesome irons. They make several models of it. Love this iron. And it actually makes a great travel iron as well, because the base it sits in, it has a retractable cord that has a plastic dome lid that snaps over it with a carrying handle. So I'll show you that. So if you like to go to classes and you want to take your own iron, that is what snaps over. There we go. This snaps over the iron setting on its base, and it locks in right here. Then you have a carry handle to carry your iron with. Very cool. Excuse me. I know what I'll end up making out of my boo-boo block from the beginning. I will make a chicken pincushion out of it. It's the perfect size for making some small chicken pincushions. And remember, there before Christmas, I had a video on that one. Yes, Sylvia, I love that iron too. They are awesome irons. They're lightweight, and they really put out a lot of heat. And when you have the steam turned on, it puts out a lot of steam also. Okay. And there was one other block. Hold on just a second before we wrap this up. Let me see here. Yeah, so everyone, this is my tote of 5-inch charm squares. When I have leftover, when I have make cuts when I'm cutting for my quilts, I actually cut up my scraps into 5-inch squares if I can get a 5-inch square out of it. Okay. No, that's it. That's all I got for tonight. Hoo-wee. So my Jackman Fabrics event are embroidery events. First 2 weekends in February in St. Louis metro area. The first one is at the Missouri store. The second week, the weekend after that, is over at the Illinois store right across the river. I'm only about 3 hours away from St. Louis. It's about 3.5 hour drive, depending on traffic, something like that. Well, that's fine. Wonderful, Sarah. But I tell you, my little dog, he's over here in his couch sleeping. Hopefully you can't hear him, but he is snoring up a storm over there. The microphones are not pointed in his direction. Okay. Yeah, so I actually do have, someone made a comment about the 3 camera angles, which is this one right here. So that camera is right in front of right up at the back of my sewing machine. The one over here that's pointed down this way, that is a large SLR, digital SLR camera. And then the one over here, right up there, is a camcorder. That's what that one is up there. Okay. So everybody, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. And I'm probably going to be on tomorrow. I'll make a posting in the morning about that. It's going to be, though, tomorrow night. Probably around, I'm thinking about doing one at 5 o'clock tomorrow night, just so I can work on some sewing projects. I still have the 9 patch I've been working on. I'm almost done. I have 7 more blocks to piece. Let me flip my camera around here for just a second. Hold on. Oops. This way. Right here. There we go. Hold on. There we go. That one right there, I have 7 more of those blocks to piece, and then I will piece it together, and it can go in my waiting to be quilted pile of quilt tops. So, everyone, have a wonderful rest of your night. If I don't see you tomorrow, have a glorious, fabulous, and safe weekend. Stay dry, stay warm, and I'll see you all I'm pretty sure I'll be on tomorrow night. So I'll see you all tomorrow. I'll make a decision on that in the morning. It depends how I'm feeling in the morning. I haven't been feeling 100% lately. Anyway, enough of that. I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye, everybody. Thank you so much. Happy sewing.